Today I want to talk to you guys about how to do a proper CMA. So everyone on my team comes to me and they're like, oh, what do you think this comp is? What do you think that comp is? So I'm going to record a video and go over how to do CMA, a market analysis. So first you want to understand what is a market analysis. A comparative market analysis is essentially, what does a buyer think a home is worth? What is a seller willing to accept as far as a price? Okay, so I'm going to be doing a screen share. Hey, Diana, how are you? Okay. All right, so screen share. No, one participant. Okay, share screen. Perfect. All right, so bam, bam, bam. Okay. So market analysis, 10 steps to the perfect CMA. Okay. So these are the steps, but I'm going to explain to you the logic or the mindset behind it. Okay. Got it. This is kind of an impromptu training. Well, mom asked me to do a CMA and wanted her to have a video. Okay, perfect. So what is a market analysis? A comparative market analysis. The purpose of it is to determine the value in the home of a home in the eyes of a buyer. So how do buyers determine value? See, buyers determine value by what we call comparison shopping. Oh, what they're going to do is they're going to compare your home and its features and benefits to the features and benefits of other homes that are either on the market or have recently sold. Does that make sense, Mrs. Seller? So let me show you what I mean. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the subject property. So in the little checklist that I created for you guys, the 10 steps to the perfect CMA, we're going to identify subject property. Step one, identify subject property. Okay, identify subject property. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the subject property. We're going to step one, identify subject property. And I'm going to download this as a PDF. What I'm doing now is I'm downloading this as a PDF. I'm going to be putting it into the Facebook chat. That way you guys have it as a checklist where you can print out and have it handy every single time you're doing a CMA. Can you guys hear me? Good. So I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Okay, good. So 10 steps to the perfect CMA. Okay, step number one, identify subject property. So we're going to use this property that I'm purchasing here. We're going to identify subject properties. We're going to identify the bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, year built, lot size, pool if it's applicable. Okay, so bedrooms, it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. Okay, we're looking at square feet. So we're going to look at the fact that it's 1,944 square feet. Okay, we're going to look at the fact that it's a lot size of pretty much 0, because this is in this case, it's a townhouse. Lot size 3,150 square feet. Sometimes that is important. Okay, so step number one, identify subject property. Okay, step number two, we're going to copy and paste the address to the middle map section of the search bar. I know a lot of you guys are in different MLSs, so try to bear with me. Copy the address. Step number two, copy the address. We're going to open up a new search window, right click into quick search. So I've copied and now I'm pasting. Okay, coming back, can't hear. Okay, let's see why you can't hear. Okay, select speaker, select. Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me? Okay. So copy and paste. So just to start over quickly, I've shared the 10 steps to the perfect CMA. Email me, text me 407-572-4458. Check me out on Facebook for this PDF. Step number one, we're going to identify the subject property. Bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, year built, lot size, pool, yes or no, which is done by looking, visualizing, actually seeing the subject property. Okay. Step number two. Oh, what's up, Zach Purdy? Step number two. Hey, Steve said to call him, by the way. He said you haven't returned his call. Step number two, we're going to copy and paste the address into the search bar. Again, the reason we're doing it this way is because this is how we present to a Mike Ferry client, a prospect. We're going to use the listing presentation, but this is how we're going to find the data. Okay. So my mom says she likes your view, Zach. So step number two, we're going to copy and paste the address into the middle map bar. So I've copied the address. I've identified the material facts of the home: 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2.5, 1,900 square feet, and the year built is 2009. Okay. So if you're ever doing a quick CMA, this is how you do it. So you've copied and pasted the address into the search bar here. Make sure you click on that. Very important. Make sure you click on that. A lot of people just paste it in there without clicking on this. So click on that. Now it defaults to 1/4 mile. Okay. So the next step I'm going to do, step number 3, and it's very simple. It's laid out in here. I've made this dummy proof because the bottom line is sometimes we hire dummies. Okay. Sometimes we're the dummy. So let's make it dummy proof. So then you go to the map section, which is right here. Click on the map. Now you see that it defaulted to 1/4 mile. So step number 4, step 4, then draw boundary lines inside of subdivision, okay, and main roads. So let's say and or main roads, highways, major streets, etc. Okay, use common sense here, guys. So main road. So let's just look at this as an example. This is the subject property. It's in this neighborhood. Obviously, I'm gonna boundary myself to the Florida Turnpike. I'm not gonna go on the other side. A buyer looking in the neighborhood for a townhome like this, they're not gonna go across there. They're gonna stay in this little boundary. So I'm gonna use this little mapping tool. It's called Draw Polygon. I'm gonna start on the main road. So you can visually see there's enough in here just to find it in a subdivision. What do most amateur realtors do? They go 1 mile out, 1/4 mile out. What do professional salespeople do? This is what we do, okay? So you can see there's clearly just enough for us to prove the point. Okay, so let's go back to the checklist. Number 5, step 5. Then visually look at the results. Okay? Now, I'm going to switch this up. Okay, so step 5, then handpick. Okay, so I'm actually going to make this particular part here step 5. So I'm going to make step 1 visually. Okay, step 5, then adjust to criteria. Adjust search to search criteria. Okay, now I made this because I do all these things in my head, step by step by step. So then adjust to search criteria. Now here are the search criteria. So I'm going to copy and paste this to step 5. Okay, so step 5. Okay, now these are the criteria. Okay, so everything here. I'm gonna, as I adjust this, I'm gonna share this with you guys. Best guess. Yeah, let's go back there. Okay, perfect. So part of the Mike Ferry sales system is creating business systems and business checklists. So if you look in the chapter in your book on business systems, Zach, Diana, Tracy. Mike says in there, create simple checklists. Now it sounds very complicated as I'm explaining it, but you'll see at the end it's very simple. Okay, so step one was identify subject property. Step two was copy and paste your subject property into the map search. Step three was go to the map. Step four was draw the boundaries in the subdivision or around main roads. Step five, adjust the search criteria. Now, this all looks very complicated, but I'm going to make it very simple. Typically, you go anywhere from a half mile to a mile out on a radius. We covered that by mapping it in step four. Then typically, let's call this the rule of 10. We go 10% of the square feet and 10 years on the year built. So what I mean by that is, for example, we've created the boundaries. I'm going to go back to the criteria. I'm going to start adjusting. So if you recall, it's 1,900 square feet. So I'm going to go 10% of that, which is about 194. So 200. I'm going to go 1,700 dash. It was 1944. So I'm going to go up to 222, 23. Let's go 2,300. So we've adjusted the square feet because we don't want to look at a 1,900 square foot home, townhome, and compare it with a 3,000 square foot single family home that's built in the 80s. So the first thing we adjust is square feet. Second thing we're going to adjust based on this checklist is the year built. Okay, so subject property is built in 2009. So we're going to plus or minus 10 years. Okay, so 1998, 99, up to 2019, plus or minus. I have a 10-year range. We have a 10% range on the square feet. We have a 10-year range on the year built. Okay. Additionally, we're going to look at whether or not it has a pool. Now, it's a townhome, so that doesn't really apply. So we're going to skip that if it doesn't apply. Then we can look at lot size. Okay, so that was important. So let's just make sure that's part of the. Okay, and then one thing I didn't put in here, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to add in home type. Home type. So subject property we can see is a townhouse or a townhome, depending on your state. So we're going to property style home townhome. So home type / property style. Got it. I'm just adjusting this checklist. You can share it with your teams. You can do what you want to it, whatever you want. So single family, sometimes they're condos, duplex, condotel, nobody. Just kidding. So condotel. All right, perfect. So we got the property style, townhome, got the square feet, we got the year built. Now we're done. Okay, so we created our boundaries. So step one was identify. Step two was create our boundary lines. Step three was go to the map. Step four was draw the boundary line. Step five is adjust the criteria. And then step six, let's see, what's their step six? Is there a step six? I mean, pretty much we're done. Step six, okay, then handpick the closest in square feet or price we're trying to justify the price the client wants. Okay, so step six, I'm just going to go to the results. I got the results here. Now let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it better. Okay, so I got the results. Now in your MLS, you can actually customize what you want each of these things to show. So if I click on one of these, I can insert column and let's say, active. So I can make sure its status is active, which I did. We got an MLS number. Let's say we've got the address. Let's say we got the zip code here. Now, if you didn't want that in that order, you can literally put bedrooms, because a lot of us Mike Ferry guys would like to present bedrooms, bathrooms, what's the square feet. So Mr. Seller, so let me show you what you're dealing with, because we got this grid. You got this house that's pending at 339 White Dogwood. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? There's a half bathroom there. What's the square feet? So we got heated square feet, 1944. What was the year built? So you would adjust it there. Okay. And you see how many days it was on the market? Yeah. And you see how many days it took to get under contract. It says DTC. Days to contract, 6 days. Okay, now you know this subdivision. Okay, it's here in the Ocoee area. Okay, look at the list price. Look at what they got under contract. Now, we don't know where they're going to end up, but we do know that they went pending fairly quickly. Okay, so if you wanted to insert column, list date, okay, I'll say date, on market date grid, on market date grid. It came on the market August 11th. Okay, so we're going to insert another column, date. Okay, contract date. We're looking for contract date. Look at what it went under contract 5 days later. Okay, now we're going to keep pool in there. Yeah, they have a community pool. Now it doesn't show what it's gonna the sold terms. We can put insert column. Let's look at another date. Okay, expected close date, expected closing date. Apply. They're expecting to close on the 1st of October. Yeah, they haven't closed yet, have they? Or it looks like they're going to close tomorrow. So then you can tell the story with the facts. The presentation is using the facts and the data and the analytics. Not, here's an RPR report. This is what the computer says your house is worth. If we're telling, we're wrong. If we're selling, they're telling us. And if they're telling us, they're right. That's why we want to present the comps in a way in which we're allowing them to be right. So this is pending. Now let's look at what actually sold, shall we? Okay, now we want to make sure that this is in order of close date of oldest to newest, oldest to newest. So back in July, this one went under contract. So let's take a look here, and you know, we would print it out in such a way. I'll show you how to print it out in a second. This property here, and Kevin, this is being recorded. I'll send you the recording shortly. Okay. So before we go out, so one of the next steps, step number 7. So step 7 is the goal is always to find at least 3 actives, 3 pendings, and 3 solds. You know, we call that the 3-3-3. The goal is always 3 actives of similar condition, 3 pendings of similar condition, and 3 solds. Now, a lot of times we don't necessarily have the ability to find 3. Like in this situation here, we're seeing that there's 0 actives. Okay, there's 1 pending, all right, and there's 4 solds. So when you're selling in your presentation, when you're presenting, you can just look at this grid and say to a seller, Mr. Seller, there's 0 actives. Okay, so if we're looking at a fact of supply and demand, the supply is 0. There's no green dots. There's no actives. Okay, usually I would show you 3 actives right here. There is none. So here's your competition, hand them a blank sheet of paper. Now there's 1 that went pending in the last 30 days. Supply and demand. The demand is 1. One buyer purchased a home in this neighborhood in the last 30 days. That's going to be your absorption rate. That's going to be your demand rate. So which means in the next 30 days, there's going to be another cat. There's going to be another seller. Are you going to be that seller? If you're not going to hire me to be that seller, I'm going to go find another neighbor to be that seller. They're going to sell. Now watch this. In May, because this one went under contract and sold in May. So look at the solds: 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 1,753 square feet, 2013 built. Cumulative days on market, 1 day on the market. What does that tell you? It tells me that their house was nice. We're not even looking at photos yet. We're just looking at the data. It took them 7 days to get under contract. Okay, it was in the neighborhood. List price, $310. Sold price, $305, which means these guys came down by $5,000. Okay, so we can even add in insert column ratio. Let's look at ratio. Okay, ratio, L, list price, sales price ratio. So SP to LP ratio. What this means is they got 98%, Kevin, of what they were asking. All right. Well, what do you sell homes for? We sell homes for 98% of list price. We are realtors. In this area, homes are selling At a low end, 96% of list price. At a high end, 99% of list price. These guys settled for 98% of list price, which means if you were to hire me, I'm one of the best agents in the area. My name is Kevin Rousey. I work for blank. My name is Tracy Hempstead. I own blank. If you hire that other agent, you're going to give your house away for 96%. You hire me today, you're going to get 99%. What do you say? Hire me today. Okay, so that's an example of using the comps to sell yourself. Okay, so let's go back to this. So the first one sold. You can see the close date, July 2nd. Okay, July 2nd. Now, if you have an analytical seller or an analytical client, what about the price per square foot? Here it is, 176.94 per foot is what they were asking. They actually got 174.90 or 9 cents. Okay, this guy was at 157. He got 152. 174, 17. Now, do you have a calculator? Yeah. Whip out your calculator. Let's take a look at that, and you make them do the math. Okay. So again, looking here, this one sold under contract, came on the market in May, sold in June, closed in July. Came on the market in May for 337. So look at the increase here. And this is why we want to do it in the oldest to the newest, because we're telling a story with presenting the comps better. This is the best way to present comps versus going and clicking on an RPR report. You want to present it this way so they can tell you what the price should be. This was listed for 349. They got 337. Okay. They got this price. All right. 12 days on market. It took them 61 days to get under contract for some reason. They had some issues. They went under contract in May, went on the market in May, got under contract in June. What this means is that we just looking at this, they were under contract once with a buyer, fell out of contract, went back under contract again. And just to prove that point, we're going to go to the property, go to history, new listing, pending, back on the market, pending. See, we can see a lot of information even without taking the extra time to look into each property just by looking at the dates. You know, for example, you got a friend of yours who's trying to lose weight, but they keep gaining weight. They're not eating right. Okay. So there's something they're not doing. The numbers never lie. 519 went under contract, 626 rather. Expected close date was 8/3. Look at the actual close date, 7/29. Okay. Now we can also see what kind of financing, conventional, FHA conventional, which means this type of neighborhood will take an FHA buyer. Okay. Well, so many things we can see from this grid. All right. So we want to save the grid, set current as my default. Okay, good. So going back to the checklist again, you know, if you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to help out. Okay. So just to summarize, simple steps: copy and paste, open new tab, paste. This is the summary of what we went through. Click active pending solds, defaults 180 days. Look at the number of matches at the bottom. We're looking for 333, 5 to 10. Click results, sort by actives, then pendings, then solds, oldest to newest sales. Go through, date, and identify which comps you want to use. Adjust the criteria. Change the square feet range, that 10% that we talked about. Adjust the year, that was that 10 years plus or minus. Okay, and then step number 10 was review the comps. So this is the 10-step checklist. Review the comps and come up with his suggested price. The analyticals, they like, I mentioned this earlier, they like to focus on the price per square foot. They'll, you know, multiply it by size. And then the drivers, they just look at the round numbers. The expressives, they don't really care. They're just looking to talk to you. So, you know, Steve Powers used to say, price is like a girl at a bar. The shorter the dress, the more guys want her. So to attract buyers, guys, wear a shorter dress or have a better price. And if you're the best house and the best price, then all the boys want you, you create a bidding war. Now, would you like to turn down 10 offers or not have the ability to negotiate one at all? Which is better for you? Okay, so that's the analogy. Be careful using this analogy with sensitive people. Christians don't like this analogy. Use a car analogy. Okay, Christians don't like this. People with family members, if it's a wife, a married couple, it's like buying a dishwasher. You go to Best Buy, there's one dishwasher left. 10 buyers in the line. What's going to happen to the price? Okay, the traditional analogy, if you're buying a car, 2 cars for sale, one for 50,000, another for 50,000 with the fancy speakers and the rims, which one's more valuable? But what if the other one dropped the price by 10,000? Then which one's more valuable? Right, you're right. See, you can see, in order to create value, Kevin, in the eyes of a buyer, all we need to do is add more features and benefits, Kevin. Wait, do you want to do that? No, then price is the only issue. Yeah, so then you have to drop the price, don't you? Okay, see, that's why I'm going to recommend 550 versus 650. Kevin, would you sign the contract tonight, please? Just sign the contract. It's okay, just sign the fucking contract. Okay, don't curse when you're in front of a seller. Okay, now to print, go to your copy of agent single line. Okay, so you're going to go back to here. Yeah, so when you go to results, select all the results, print, and I'm going to select 3 things. Copy of agent single line, that's the one I adjusted. I'm going to hold down my if you have a Mac, hold down the command button. If you have a Windows PC, get a Mac. Okay, so go ahead and hit copy of agent single line, hit multi, and then you might want to search for residential broker synopsis single page. Residential broker synopsis single page. Now, if you're really fancy, you want to show the photos like I do, maybe get rid of that one. And I would actually suggest customer flyer with photos. So those 3 are all you need. Copy of agent single line, customer flyers with photos, and multi-map. And this is very important. Don't hit print, hit print to PDF. Now here's why, because it sorts it for you properly. It makes it nice and clean, and then you can just hit the print button. My assistant can't for the life of her, get the hang of this, which is why I'm still doing CMAs. Hopefully she can watch this video 10 times. Okay, so copy of agent single line, customer flyers, multi-map, print to PDF, then print. Oh, it's right there. Just got to follow the simple checklist, guys. Okay, so let's make this a perfect. Okay, perfect. So when you have an assistant, or if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. This is how we present to every seller every time. This is the front page. This is what I use. This is the first comp. This is that pending we talked about. I'm going to physically hand them. Let me show you where you're competing with. I might hand them a blank sheet of paper because you have no competition. Now let me show you what went pending. It's very important you hand them the piece of paper. Make sure your paper isn't sagging. Make sure you go on Amazon.com and you're going to get the highest pound paper ever. I believe it's 33 pound paper, 100% brightness. Okay, when you hand them the paper, then they see the facts. While they're looking at the photos, you're going to be reading from the grid. How many bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, etc. Okay. All right, and then the same thing for the other ones. And some sellers are visual. That's why we clicked on the map here, and we're going to hand this to them. Let them see the map. It's in their area. So this is how to do a perfect CMA. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will talk to you soon.